Indonesia's identity is forged by interconnectedness of culture from around the world. Indonesian nation, which consists of various tribes, religions, and languages, also represents the existence of cultural divergence that were also influenced from the cultures that come from other countries. Our history of being colonized for approximately 350 years by various countries made it happen, starting from the Portuguese, French, England, Dutch, and Japanese, resulting in the mix of cultures that we can still see today. It is common to see foreigners colonizing traditional Indonesian arts and cultures, to an extent of exploiting them, such as forcing locals to create handmade batik. The colonizers from the Dutch, Portuguese, and other came and brought in and out aspects in our culture. Even though the Portuguese didn't colonize our country for a long time, the cultural impact that the government created can be felt by our nation. The arrival of the Portuguese resulted in a form of acculturation. In North Jakarta, there is a village called Kampung Tugu. In the town, there are also several Portuguese descendants who still maintain their culture in their daily lives. The Dutch have also inherited some cultures, which are adapted in our education system currently. One of the examples, in schools, students sit in rows facing the front, but the teacher stands.
Even now, in the present, we can still find the remnants of the colonial past in the words we used. Several Indonesian languages were adopted and influenced by Dutch. For instance, we can see from the words rokok and asbak. Both of those words were adopted from the Dutch language, which are roken and asbak. Several months of the year in Bahasa are also adopted from the Dutch language. Not only language, but the remnants also exist in our foods. There are many Indonesian foods that are influenced by Dutch. One of the example is Ragusa ice cream. Ragusa Italian ice cream is the oldest ice cream shop in Jakarta that was built in 1932 by the Italian brothers named Luigi Ragusa and Vincenzo. It was in their care before they had to go back to Italy, and they decided to give it to one of their employees, Guntoro, now known as the owner of Ragusa ice cream store. The second one is klappertaart. Some of the Dutch colonies arrived in various regions of Indonesia, one of them being Manado, a province in North Sulawesi. As a result, they introduced a recipe of a dish that has later been combined with Indonesian ingredients. With ingredients from both countries, klappertaart were made as a combination of Dutch and Indonesian culture. The third food is perkedel. Perkedel is one of the most famous and lovable Dutch Indonesian dishes. This food was brought by the Dutch when they colonized Indonesia. This food contains potatoes, tofu, tempeh, and chicken that are mixed with some eggs and wheat flour. The name perkedel itself comes from the Dutch language, friskadel or friskadeler. The last food is dry cookies. This includes nastar, lidah kucing, kastengel or kue keju, kue putri salju, and many others. These dry cookies are also popular in big events in Indonesia, such as the Christmas or Lebaran holiday, when it is eaten together with a gathering of friends or family. The ingredients are influenced by the colonizers. For example, the kastengels are made with Edam cheese that were brought by the Dutch.
The architecture in Indonesia is also influenced by many cultures and also by the colonial architecture. It goes both ways, as our culture can also be seen in our colonizers' home country. It is said that after Indonesian independence, people brought back the Indonesian cuisine to the Netherlands. They tried to make the food as it is good in Indonesia, but it lacked the herbs it needed. Indonesia has a lot of forms of art, such as traditional clothes, traditional dances, batik, traditional music and ensemble, sports, films, carvings, and many others. It is diverse as the population is made of different tribes and ethnicities.
Despite the colony, Indonesia has a lot of forms of art such as traditional dances, such as Tari Bajidor Kahot from West Java that enacts and depicted social criticism concerning a social mingling and the joys of being a young woman. Tari Saman, a dance derived from Aceh from the Sumatran region used in greeting ceremonies, and Tari Merak, as shown now, a dance from West Java that was created to accentuate the beauty of the local peacocks, which are being demonstrated by our lovely representatives from Listra, a student society focused on the traditional arts and performances within an international platform in Thailand and Greece. Like ulos, the traditional garment from the Batak ethnicity. In this particular clip, it shows that even younger individuals from some settlements are actively participating in preserving their cultures, showcasing that there is a healthy regeneration and the fulfillment of the passing down of culture. On the other hand, some are making an effort to modernize our traditional clothing to fit into modern stylings, an effort that has only widened the embrace for it and reassured their position within the public consciousness. You have actually heard little chunks of traditional arrangements of instruments, but there is numerous other traditional songs that are widespread from every region of Indonesia. One popular example from West Java is Manuk Dadali, that showcases the symbolism contained within the imagery of Garuda, as well as highlighting notions of solidarity and harmony through our differences. This song was also sung in the much-loved opening ceremony of the Asian Games in 2018 by Rosa.
Even sports like the pencaksilat. Pencaksilat has a lot of significance both in and out of the country, with the likes of Robert Pattinson stating how precise it is and how they incorporated some of the movements in the new Batman movies.
It's I thought that was so fun. I mean, and we worked with this great choreographer called Rob Alonso. You're designing it to do combinations, but like every single combination in Silat, it's like get round to the back of the head and then kill shot with the elbow on the spinal cord. And I'm like, well, it's so crazy. It's really fun though.
Mystically, pencaksilat has also been showcased in recent pop culture through the movie Mencuri Raden Saleh. Slay! And here are some demonstrations made by Rifki's friend. Another cultural heterogeneity in Indonesia can be seen in marriage ceremonies. Even between different ethnicities, various distinct cultural practices are being done. Rituals, ceremony, clothing, and even food are diverse and differentiate from one ethnicity to the others. In example, in Buginese culture, brides and grooms do mapaci or paci night, usually the night or days before the wedding, to symbolize purity of the souls before the two later become intertwined in holy matrimony. These weddings also usually showcase the inclusivity of the 5 genders that are recognized by the Buginese. One of the 5 is the Bisu gender, which is a mix of all 4 genders where it is both feminine and masculine. They are considered spiritually holy, thus, they are thought highly of in Bugis society.
To reaffirm this point, Indonesian art and culture is diverse as the population is made of many different tribes and ethnicities, and the notion that the younger generation are leaving their cultural heritage in the past is not completely true. As can be seen in this clip of a high school event, where attendees are clearly packed and enthusiastic in seeing multiple demonstrations of the different cultures of Indonesia.
In the end, art enables us to expand our mind beyond what is provided in our daily dialogue, beyond our established perspective. The ability to analyze from others' point of view, how they have responded to a certain situation, and how it embodies itself into a creative form, can be answered through art.
Thank you for watching. Please give us a like.